Today, Nintendo fans set themselves up for disappointment as hype and expectations are running high. In gaming New Year's resolutions we lie about to ourselves. All that and more on Hello Nintendo. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today is episode 25 of Hello Nintendo. I'm your host, Matt, aka Trainas, and joining me again today is Alex, aka the Scottish Lion.
Hello everybody, good to be joining again.
And making his return is Brooks, the Poochie Kid.
Hey there.
It's been a while since I've been on an episode with you, so that's it's good to get you back on.
Yeah.
So I'd say we've got a pretty good show lined up for you guys today, and normally at this point we would do our what we've been playing in the last little while, but I think this time, because it is the new year, this is the first episode of 2018 for our Nintendo, let's just kind of talk a little bit about what our game of the year was for 2017. So Alex, let's start with you. What was your 2017 game of the year?
So my 2017 Game of the Year was definitely Hat in Time. If you haven't played it yet, it's a platformer, a little bit more akin to Super Mario Sunshine than a Super Mario Galaxy. The platforming difference is between this and Odyssey, and I haven't played a whole lot of Odyssey, maybe 15 minutes at most. This is a very crisp platformer. It's a very... there's a lot more precision involved opposed to kind of the slippery feel of Super Mario Odyssey. This game is a lot better than Odyssey in my opinion, just from the little bit I've played, and that's more due to my personal taste and what I look for in a game, but it's super charming. It is adorable. It has it has some very dark humor, but it also has some humor that children would love. Humor that only adults would get, so that there's something in it for everybody, and it's a really, really special game that I really suggest to try out. The characters, the voice acting, the art, everything in it is unique and special, so definitely check out Hat in Time. I believe it's still on sale on Steam, and if not, it is coming to Switch sometime later this year.
Nice. I like the fact that it's coming to Switch.
Well, it's not confirmed to be coming to Switch.
Well, we're all about rumors right now, so rumored to be coming to Switch. So that would be awesome. That would be good. Brooks, what about you? What is your 2017 Game of the Year?
Well, how about that? The other major hat-based 3D platformer, Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, and why is that? Why do you say that Odyssey is your game of the year?
Just fell in love with how Mario controls, and just fun to control Mario around, doing all these challenges, the skill ceiling is just super high, unlike really any Mario game before. I mean, I 100%'d the game.
Oh, did you? Well, that's a pretty good, I would say that's a pretty good accomplishment.
Yeah, it only took 65 hours.
Oh, to have free time like that again.
That's actually pretty good to 100% Odyssey in 65 hours. That's actually a pretty good accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
It probably would have taken a bit more if I didn't cheese a lot of the purple coins. I used the Bowser amiibo, which helps you find them for a number of them.
Nice.
Because some of them were placed in really, really stupid locations.
Well, they've got to make it challenging. They can't make it too easy.
True.
It's got to be a bit of a challenge.
Though some of the moons already are very challenging.
Right on. Well, I would say my game of the year, oddly enough, would probably be Final Fantasy 15. It's one of the first games that I was actually able to... There's only one of a few games, I should say, that I actually completed in 2017. I thought the story was excellent. It's one of the only games aside from Halo 3 that's actually kind of got me a little bit emotional at the end, the way the story comes to its completion and everything, and whatnot. I thought the characters were really good. The sound on it, the music, the environments was excellent. It was really good. You can really tell when Square Enix, like they always put a lot of time and effort into their games when they make them. It's just like Nintendo and the spit and polish that they apply. So I thought that was really good. Yeah, it did have a few of its issues, but overall I think it's really good. And even for a game that's got a fairly linear story, there is a fair bit of replayability in there. You can do a new game plus. You can even go back, and after a certain point, you get the ability to actually warp or move through time, so you can go back to different areas of the game and continue playing on. And then they've got their episode DLC for Prompto, Gladio, and Ignis as well, so that's good, because that helps build out their backstory a bit. I've already completed the Prompto, and Jasmine, who was on the last episode, and I were both going to be going into the Ignis one next, because Ignis is both of our favorite characters. So we're going to be going into that, and then I'll do Gladio afterwards. But yeah, I would say Final Fantasy 15 was probably my game of the year. It's the one that I kind of, aside from Overwatch, where I can constantly go back for that kind of punishment, 15 is the one that, I kind of always want to keep going back to playing. So I would say 15 is my game of the year. It seems that out of the three of us, I'm the only one with a non-Nintendo game as their game of the year.
And a non-2017 game.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that's very true.
Hello, Nintendo!
We're going to dive into our news topic. The other day, what was it, yesterday? Was it Friday?
Yeah.
A video was released which claimed to be a beta version of the Switch version 5.0 UI. It contained a few features, such as I think there was some clubs.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, there was some clubs in there. I think there was a reference to cloud saves as well. I kind of quickly skimmed through the video. So Brooks, why don't you kind of summarize, if you can, what were some of the things that were kind of included in that firmware?
Well, it showed off, of course, media apps like, Crunchyroll, Twitch, YouTube. It showed off voice chat. It showed off online party rooms. It showed off cloud saving. It hinted towards Virtual Console. It showed off new themes. It was basically everything you'd want from a Switch update. It looked legit.
Yeah, so when I watched it, it did look kind of real, and at first I thought it did look real, but then yeah, it was too good to be true. Alec, what do you think? Did you get a chance to see that video?
Yeah, I did. It's not that long. It's only like 1:20 if you haven't checked it out yet and you're listening to this podcast. It has a lot of too good to be true elements to it. It has pretty much everything that we've been asking for out of online Nintendo. And one of the interesting things, and initially I did believe it, but then I got to thinking, if this is a beta, Nintendo and companies at wide usually roll out segments of a beta, so they're not going to roll out YouTube, Twitch, Crunchyroll, online services all at once. They're going to delay them, push them through a couple series of updates, so having everything in one beta update, much less not even an alpha update, that was a little bit too good to be true. So while I do see some of these things coming to the Switch in the near future, I think it's going to be over a year and a half process of different betas. Yeah,
I agree. The fact that they're dumping the video claims to dump everything all at once is kind of like the first big red flag. The other thing I noticed is that you could tell where it was being filmed in a room with very low backlighting, because all you really see is just the TV. You can't really see anything else. So that right there is another big red flag, because you can't actually see it being used. I noticed one of the comments in there from somebody who was calling out the person that uploaded the video is, take your Switch out of the dock and let's see this in handheld mode. If you want to tell us that this is real, I want to see this actually used in handheld mode. And last I checked, I didn't see any response. So I mean, that right there is another perfect example of how this is fake.
And some people were actually able to find some inconsistencies within the Switch UI itself, like like the Switch having... So, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was downloaded onto the system, but if you looked into the files when it goes by, like, system memory, SD card, cloud saves, like, even if you were to combine the total file space taken up by all three of them, they don't even match that combined total of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's file space.
Right, yeah, I think I've heard a few people mention that as well, and somebody was like, well, maybe they're using dummy applications. Like, no. If you're testing out a firmware like this, you want actual software. You want actual live software to be able to test this with, because you want to be able to test this in as close to a live environment as possible.
Not to mention that someone was also able to find when they go to the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild theme. Yeah, well, it actually uses a different font from the rest of the UI.
Well, that's...
Yeah, the G is significantly different.
Well, if that doesn't tell you right there that it's fake, I don't know what else will. I think the people that think that this is real are...
I mean, it's an extremely similar font, but the G is different.
Yeah. I think if you think this is real, you probably also think the Earth is flat. And chemtrails are real. So, I think it was back when the Switch first launched, and after, I think, of the first big update, we kind of talked about what we would like to see in an upcoming Switch firmware. So let's kind of revisit that a little bit. Alec, what are your top three? Let's just go three. What are your top three features that you would like to see come to the Switch that you feel could make the system better?
So my number one would definitely be game invites and ability to communicate with friends easier. Not even necessarily, I can wait a bit more for online communication, but just to be able to invite specific friends to play either Mario Kart 8 with or Splatoon 2 whenever I decide to pick that up. That would be really convenient. That's something a lot of the other main platforms have that Nintendo hasn't done. The second one would be YouTube. I'd love to have a YouTube app on there. I don't watch TV a whole lot. I watch more YouTube. That would be really convenient to be able to put YouTube on my TV. And then the third one would actually be Twitch or streaming or even YouTube gaming. Something where we can stream from our console and just kind of create more of a creator's platform, a little bit more friendly to creators out there, if that makes sense. You
mentioned YouTube and that you don't watch TV. Do you watch, what is it? Is it like YouTube Red or something like that, where it's like the TV YouTube service? Do you use that, or you just watch random YouTube videos?
No, I just watch random YouTube videos and sports.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just not much of a TV person.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, the YouTube aside, because I mean, I've got everything that plays YouTube. My TV, my Xbox, I've got an Android player and everything. So, but your other two points though, especially the game invites, I think that would be really good. Mario Kart 8 kind of did it okay, where you can see who's playing. When you go into multiplayer, you can see who on your friend list is playing. You can jump into a game right there, but it would be nicer if they could do like what Xbox does, and I think PlayStation might do it as well, where you can actually send an invite and pull somebody into the game. They don't have to go and seek you out. So I absolutely agree. An invite system would be big time huge. So Brooks, what are your top three wishes to see in an upcoming Switch firmware?
Well, first, kill the app and put everything from that into the Switch UI itself. Like, seriously, just kill the app. Yeah. It's a waste of space.
I don't think I've launched mine in at least, 3-4 months?
Yeah.
If not a bit longer. I think I used it once or twice after the app dropped, and that's it.
I use it for Splatnet 2 every once in a while, but yeah, that's about it. Yeah, Discord's just better. Secondly, I would like to see an internet browser. I have my phone.
A browser, yeah?
Yeah, I have my phone, but the Switch is just, I don't know, just bigger. I think, is the
It
thing.
might be bigger, but browsing with a controller is not the easiest. It's
Yeah, as a touchscreen,
even still like, well, I guess in handheld then you can use, it turns more into a tablet, so you can use your touch.
no, I'm not meaning like in docked, more like in handheld. Well, not only that, but being able to do docked on the TV for easy direct watching. That'd be nice.
So I guess that would be a little bit like a YouTube app, like what Alex was saying.
Yeah, YouTube app, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why not both?
See, I wonder how many people actually use the browser on the Wii U. I know I used it very, very infrequently. Usually it was to post a screenshot on like Facebook or something like that I wanted to share. But
I used it a ton. Granted, I use the 3DS browser quite a bit, and that is the 3DS browser, so maybe I'm not the best person.
Can I ask what you use your browser for? Because I've never been a person to use a browser on a console before. I've just never seen the use of it compared to a laptop.
Well, maybe I used it more before I got my first smartphone, so it was basically my major internet browser. But even still, the bigger screen on the Wii U gamepad was nice. And just being able to watch stuff on the TV.
didn't the Wii U browser kind of show itself as something like Safari, or was it Opera? It was something that had very limited compatibility with a lot of websites and stuff. So sometimes, for some reason, I want to say it might have been Opera.
Maybe?
Opera.
I don't know.
But,
I mean, it worked for...
yeah.
I thought M Plus had a really good YouTube player. Like, really good.
Yeah, I use the YouTube player. Usually I'd be looking up game trailers and stuff before I'd buy stuff off the eShop. I think I watched E3 on it once.
Now, basically, the most I use my Wii U for, besides the occasional Super Mario Maker, is to watch directs and stuff like that on it.
For me, I kind of like Alex's ideas with the friend invites, being able to stream games as well on a streaming service like Twitch, or maybe Microsoft will be nice and let us include Mixer support, because Mixer is actually pretty awesome as it is. But the friend invite thing, I think, is probably one of my biggest things. I'm not really a big, I really don't care about themes. So themes don't really do anything for me. Cloud saves would be nice, and I have a feeling that is inevitably something that we're going to see. It just makes sense. But really, the friend invites is kind of the only big thing that I would like to see. That's kind of mine. I seem to have the least amount out of everybody here.
Hello, Nintendo!
So we're gonna move on. Was it a couple weeks ago? I posted a thread on our Nintendo. It was just before the end of the year, and it was your gaming New Year's resolutions. So everybody, every January 1st or end of December, always lies to themselves about what they're going to do in the new year to improve themselves. Go to the gym, which usually lasts, a couple months, or eat healthy, which lasts a week, or get more sleep, which, well, never happens. So I decided let's go with something that we as gamers are more likely to try and achieve. So it was your gaming New Year's resolutions. And before I get into the details of kind of what went on in that sub, Brooks, what is your gaming New Year's resolution?
We were supposed to make a resolution on New Year. I was too busy playing Xenoblade 2.
Well, it doesn't have to be on New Year's. You could even just make one. You can even just have one now. Like, what is something gaming related? It doesn't have to be specific to Nintendo, just gaming in general, that you resolve to do in 2018. Something that you would, kind of a goal that you're going to set for yourself.
I'm looking on this list, and it seems like a lot of people are wanting to complete Xenoblade 2. And
so would you say that?
yeah, I guess that would be mine.
Yeah, complete Xenoblade 2.
Yeah.
Cool. Alex, what about you? What would you say your gaming New Year's or gaming resolution is for New Year's?
So I started this actually last year, was to kind of take on a new series before, because I've always been terrible about being consistent. So I played through some of the Fire Emblem games last year, got to experience the good parts and all the horrors of that series.
Yep.
This year I was thinking about Kirby, but since I started Metroid Prime, which I've discussed before, my goal is to beat Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 before 4 releases, and I'm hoping that it doesn't release until the holidays so I can actually meet that goal.
I doubt it'll even come out in 2018.
Yeah,
honestly.
I don't think it'll be out this year either. I mean, all we got was just a little teaser last year, so...
It does give me even more time then to beat Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 and be lazy at completing my resolution.
Yeah. They aren't particularly long games, though, are they?
Well, depends on how much you can run through them, or you can literally explore and try and 100% the game. The Prime games have a lot of lore in them. There's a lot of stuff to find, actually.
I like exploring every little nook and cranny of the map, and I'm really slow at completing games, so it takes me a bit to get through a game.
Yeah, but I wonder what, like, the medium... Let's look at how long to beat real quick. Let's see, the first game, 13.5 hours. The second game, 17.5 hours. And the last game, well, the entire thing clocks in at around 45 hours.
45 hours? Dear lord, this can take me a year. So far, I'm almost done with the Chozo Ruins in the first game. I actually got a chance to play a little bit last night, and got completely destroyed by the final boss in that area. I think it's the final boss, I'm not sure yet. I don't know much about the games. I'm avoiding a walkthrough, so that's taking even more time.
Hey, if you want to do it a bit... If you want a bit shorter experience, you can do one of the other Metroid Prime games, like the main story for Metroid Prime Pinball only takes 2.5 hours. That's a Prime game.
Don't knock Prime Pinball. That's actually a really good game. It's a fun pick up and kind of pick up and go kind of game.
No, I'm sure it is, but
yeah.
Why?
Alex, have you read the lore about with the space pirates trying to? Because I mean, it's well known that the space pirates want to capture Samus's technology and make it. So have you read any of the lore or the information about the space pirates and kind of their findings and whatnot in trying to reproduce Samus's suit?
I have not. I know very little about the lore. I just know enough about Metroid to put together some of the game clubs that we've done for them in the past. And then, fortunately, because somehow I've escaped all spoilers in a 17-year-old game, I decided to continue just avoid that section of the internet and discover what I can for myself. So no, I don't. Right on.
It's kind of funny when you do get it. It's more of a built-up tech area, so you'll know you're kind of getting into there. All I have to say is it's kind of funny to see what happens and what was written. Retro did I think they did a pretty good job with that backstory.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah. My New Year's resolution, gaming wise, is actually very similar to what the majority of people are. Is just to actually start completing games. My library grows exponentially, and Microsoft doesn't help matters any with the games with gold and getting 4 games free every month. So I think they're part of the problem. And then there's always something good coming out on the Switch that I want to add to my library. So that doesn't help either. So I want to actually start completing some games by the end of the year. I think last year I ended up only completing 2 or 3. So I want to try and at least double, if not triple, that number. So that's mine, and hopefully it's something, that I can achieve. So, but yeah, let's. So the one thing that, and I mentioned it before, kind of the one common theme was across everybody was actually finish their games library, and I think everybody has this exact same problem where their library is massive and they just can't complete it. So that seems to be one of the biggest commonalities. User Metaspeedo is attempting to finish 14 games 14 games by year's end. So press F to pay respects. Everybody press F to pay respects.
I think I completed 14 games this year.
Yeah, 14 games. That's going to be a lot.
Hopefully one of them isn't like Xenoblade 2. It's like 90 hours long.
Well, I mean, you could easily, if you don't sleep or go to school or work, you could easily do something like that. 4K was a common resolution this year as well. We got a lot of funny people.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, 4K was my resolution as well by the end of the year. Thanks to Microsoft and the Xbox One X. It resulted in a new TV, a new receiver, and a new Android TV box. So, and then it's going to make me buy new speakers that are Dolby Atmos compatible. We've got here Luke Ferrario is attempting to get an SNES Classic. So good luck with that one. Honestly, the SNES Classic, I mean, it's still pretty rare. Have you guys seen many in stores since launch? I haven't seen any up here.
Living in kind of that central Texas area right in between Austin and San Antonio, I'm not sure if the gaming community is as big there, but I've seen quite a few in my stores.
Oh yeah? Well, maybe once you reach out to Luke Ferrario and offer to help him get an SNES Classic.
Luke Ferrario, if you're listening to this, message me. Scottish Lion on Red. I'll hook you up.
Nice. He also wants to help suck his brother back into the black hole that is Pokemon.
Nice.
He wants to try and get his brother back into Pokemon, and he wants to collect more amiibos, which is... Dude, as somebody that has got far too many, I say no, don't. That's a financial sinkhole that you do not want to get into.
Collect more.
Yeah.
Collect more.
Like I wasn't even intending to get the Mario Odyssey wedding amiibos, and then what's this? When I'm going through GameStop, they've got one on the shelf. Well, okay. You know. But I was able to finish collecting all of the Breath of the Wild amiibos, so.
Nice.
User The Tired One is going to join the Switch Club, which shouldn't be too hard these days because Switches are plentiful on the shelves, which is good. So welcome to the Switch Club when you do get one. Hieronymus E plans on customizing his Joy-Cons. And as someone who has done both customized Joy-Cons and a Switch Pro controller, my only warning to you is be very careful. The Joy-Cons especially, because they've got a lot of really tiny pieces, and those screws seem to be made out of very thin plastic, or very soft metal, so the screw heads can strip easily. That's what happened with me when I swapped the shells on my Joy-Cons. So just be very careful. Get a spare set of Joy-Cons, because you don't want to be without controllers. As Brooks pointed out, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is kind of high on everybody's completion list. And the Goatman, user Goatman2112 plans on beating every Super Nintendo game. Every Super Nintendo game.
Well, that's
good luck.
A lot.
Good luck.
And yeah, exactly. Now, there's only 712 Super Nintendo games.
Only.
In North America. So, I'm sorry, 721. I can't count. There's 721 Super Nintendo games that were released in North America. So the US, Mexico, and Canada. But if you start taking into Japan and other regions, that number gets massive. And then there's going to be games that you just can't complete. So I would say that's a commendable one. You think how far do you guys think he's going to get into that list before he gives up?
5%?
He's going to play one of the Final Fantasies that released for it and realize that that's impossible.
Yeah. That...
Well, I think that about wraps it up for this episode. I'd like to thank Brooks and Alex again for joining me on the podcast, especially Alex because you were kind of last minute. We were frantically looking for somebody, so thanks again, guys, for joining me.
No worries. Always love to be on. So,
Brooks, if somebody wanted to find you online, do you have, outside of Reddit, do you really have an online presence anywhere?
Not really.
Okay. Alex, what about you? Where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Haynes_LWOS, and there you can actually find I wrote a full defense of Hat in Time as my game of the year. So you can find more work that I do if you enjoy sports, or if you enjoy the Overwatch League. That starts Wednesday. I have an article coming out later today covering what you need to watch. So that's going to be a fun league to watch, observe, and dive into the stats for.
Very cool. You can find me on Twitter at ReggieFizameme. That's also my Xbox Live handle. I'm also on Twitch at Trainass. But I'm hoping now that the new year has started and kind of once my wife and I reorganize our basement, I'll be able to resume streaming on Twitch. I've been streaming N64 games. So if you like N64 games, be sure to check that out. And if you like this episode or any other episodes, please leave us a review on iTunes. We kind of like to hear that. We want to try and bump our numbers up too, so leave us a review on iTunes. You can also send us an email to our official email address, nintendoreddit@gmail.com. So let us know there as well what you thought of the episode or what you think of the podcast as a whole. And we could very well read that on another episode. So with Wii titles actually being released on the NVIDIA Shield in China, it seems as if Nintendo has now gone third party. So as a result, we're asking the question that has resurfaced once again, is Nintendo doomed? So we'll see you next time on Hello Nintendo.